Say it with me, for we walk by faith, not by sight. Hey guys, we're back on this car today. I'm John, this is Cheap Old Cars and Culture, and today we're going to be fixing this red car. I've already got it really close, but I wanted to show you guys that yes, I am following through and finishing the projects. Let me show you what I'm thinking. So if we come up here to our measurements, we can see the right rear is at 28, the left rear is at 27.5. This hasn't, from the last time I measured, this hasn't changed. This has changed just a little bit, not much, 1/16 of an inch. And then our front, we were 27 last time I measured, 27 now, 26.5, 26.5. So the car is settled. The springs were used. It's not like they need to settle a lot more. They were already used springs that have already got compressed for a while. Basically, what I'm looking at here is the other side of the car is exactly how I want it to be. This side of the car sits a ½ inch lower than I want. For the rear, what I'm going to do is get the Maximum Motorsports isolators. If I can just get their uppers, that'll be good. And I will just put a thicker upper on the top of this because it has the factory rubber one. Then I'll go to theirs that doesn't compress as much, and that'll help that just a little bit, okay? The front. For the front, I'm not sure how far I want to go with it. This is going to be an interesting thing. So this sits a ½ inch lower than the other side, and honestly, this isn't bad. Some people would want their car lower than this. I like how the other side of the car sits. I want it to sit the ½ inch higher on this side or close. If I put this back in, because there's no isolator at all, if I put this back in on the bottom of the spring, I'll get about a ½ inch. You know, we're working with cut factory springs, and we're working with existing stuff, not stuff that is going crazy. And this is cheap too. I'm into this ride height, how it sits right now, for about 150 bucks. And then when those springs sell 75, 100 bucks, whatever I can get out of them, then I'll be only be into the drop here for, you know, let's say 75 bucks or so, 75, maybe 100 bucks. I don't know what I'll be into them. Hopefully it'll be 50 bucks. That'd be nice. If I can get 100 out of those springs, then I'm only 50 bucks into this drop. Throw this back on, get it fairly leveled, and it looks really good. We are just about to start pulling this spring out, which will be super fun. If you guys want to time me, I guess you can. So right now, all I've done is jack the car up, and I put it on jack stands, got a wheel chock, and I've left the key in it so I can turn the front end. So let's see how long this takes. I'm not going to be quick. I'm not trying to like rush and hurry and mess up. Okay, so let's add this spring isolator, which I don't have with me, so I'll have to get up and get it. But let's add it and see what happens. These were not super tight, so they're coming off real easy. Okay, there's that. Set my lug nuts over here because I'm right-handed and I like to grab stuff with my right hand. And there's a wheel. I want to add, in the last video on these, I called out that the caliper on the passenger side, the front passenger caliper, was, oh, my wheel's falling down. Anyway, there we go. That it was seizing up a bit. I have fixed it. I think I'm going to come down off my stool here and just sit on the floor. I have fixed it. So first, I get my tiny little screwdriver. I'm actually going to bring you guys over so you can see everything I'm doing. At least try to, at least. You know, we're going to give it a shot. Everything should be in frame. I'm going to move it up a bit. So Cobra calipers are pretty awesome. You just pop this little pin out. And then take a screwdriver and lift up. Sometimes they're a little tough to get these guys out. And so sometimes I use a slightly larger screwdriver. It's not one to come out of this time, is it? Heh. What heck? So I'm going to put, I'm being dumb. See, that's what happens when you try to rush. I'm sitting here trying to pull it out and I haven't pulled the pin out. I'm being goofy. Okay. So you work the pin out until you can pull it with your fingers, yeah? Then, sometimes you can just take it out by hand. These little clips will catch, so you just kind of push them up with your fingers. Comes right out. Okay, let's set this up here. And I'm going to show you that. So I just kind of folded it back and set it right back up in there. Very good. Okay, we're kind of done on the back side, so I'm going to move you guys to the front side. The reason I'm showing this is the last time I did this, I didn't have, the camera was more behind me and you couldn't really see much of what I was doing up under here. So, and I want to show that. So this should be my 15. And we're still in tighten, so let's put it in loosen. And obviously this stuff's come off really recently, so it'll come off super easy again. And we're just gonna drop this spring out and put the lower isolator on it, throw it right back in, and put it in the car, then see how the car sits. And I'm gonna leave it like that for a while. And if I decide to adjust it more later, I might get polyurethane isolators and do different things. Just try to get it super level. I don't know if it's really that worth it though. You know what I mean? This sometimes you just kind of get it broke loose a little bit because the sway bar might have it under some tension. Ow. Just whacked my hand. So 24 millimeter, pop that loose. Hope you guys can see everything. And then my 1/4 inch on this little guy down here. I'll have to put it back in with a different tool because this little ratchet wrench, the 1/4 inch one, doesn't tighten anymore, it just loosens. As far as the ratcheting aspect of it. Okay, so I pull this out, but you guys can't really see it because my hand was in the way. Sometimes, depending on the strut, this can be a little difficult to get out of there. So what we're gonna do, to get this out of the way, let me get the camera back good here. I just kind of take this and stick it back in here. That holds it out of the way enough. All right. Now we're onto these 24 millimeter bolts here, or nuts. Holding the back to make sure it's not spinning. I've had these off so many times recently. The threads are pretty clean, so you can sometimes just hold them with your fingers, which is what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one all the way off. Can I push the, no, too much tension on it. So if I need to hold the back side of it, I've got a 21 millimeter wrench for that. This one I'm not gonna take all the way off until I have the A-arm supported. It is a little bit tighter. Let's see if we can bump it a bit. There we go. It's trying to turn on the back side, but I can still hold it with my finger enough, so that's what I'm doing. It was really trying to twist in my finger though. Okay, we're out near the end of that, so now I'm gonna move you guys out here. And I'm gonna bring in my jack. Now I had comments and stuff on the short that I posted, the one that's got almost 20,000 views, which is awesome. It's really cool that people are seeing my stuff. I had a lot of comments on that, do it this way, do it that way, all kinds of stuff. I've done this a ton, and not saying other ways don't work. This way's been pretty successful and pretty safe for me. So I'm gonna keep doing it this way. As long as my jack is kind of past this corner here, and we're doing the weight up here, holds pretty well. That one where it popped off, I had the jack right here, and as that angle come up, it just slid backwards. Okay, a little bit of tension. Let's see if I can get it to where these bolts will come out. That bottom one's loose, so let's see if we can twist this off by hand. It's a little snug, but we got it. Okay, this bottom bolt I think will come out, yeah. Just a little bit of wiggling, and then the top bolt should too, if I find just that right spot here. There we go. Let the A-arm down. Now this ball joint is warm buttery toast, guys. Let me let you look at it here. See, you can see in there it's toast. That will get replaced before long. This car does not get driven much. Okay, now we're ready. ready to do this. So I'm gonna get kind of back here behind the camera. Sorry if you can see a lot of my leg. And we're just gonna let this down slowly. And you will hear a pop right here when this bolt comes out of the sway bar. Right there. We're letting it down, letting it down. There's no more tension on anything. We're good. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and stand up and get my isolator, which is right back here behind me. I'm going to grab my stool as well. I don't know if I'll be able to sit here, but so I'm going to push this down some. Spring falls right out. There's a leaf. All right. So I'm just threading this on here, kind of how it goes. And this should get us, you know, like I said, about a 1/4 inch or so. I hope it's enough. I hope. Not wanting to go anymore. I have to work with it here. There we go. Okay. Isolator right to the end of the spring so I can kind of line it up. There's 2 holes down here in the bottom of this perch. I don't know if you guys can see that, so I'm going to angle this up a bit. Okay. I'm huffing and puffing. I ate something that I think I was allergic to. I've got wheat allergies, and so if I eat something that has wheat in it, it swells me up. I think I ate something that had wheat in it. Anyway, there's 2 holes down here. The end of the spring pigtail is supposed to go kind of between them, so that's what we're going to shoot for. So I'm going to put it up here in the top first, and then we're going to push down the A-arm to where the bottom is in, the perch as it's supposed to be. Make sure the top will line back up when I raise it. Everything looks good. I'm going to bring you guys back a bit, lower the camera a bit. And I'm going to lift up the spindle and get my jack back up under as far forward on this control arm as I can. That's what we want. Is the spring sitting in the perch properly? I think so. So I'm going to continue jacking this up and keep watching on it closely. Yeah, we're looking great. Okay, one thing, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. This guy has to go back in here. You put some weight on it and push it over. I'm a big guy. I'm fairly strong-ish, so I can do that. I don't know that everybody could do that. Maybe you can. If everybody can do that, great. Okay, right now, I'm going to try to start lining this stuff back up. Dadgum, we're close. See if I can get a bolt in here. Oh my goodness. Amazing. All right. So putting the nut on. It ain't going to come out now. Okay. And another nut. And then I'm going to put my sway bar bushing back in place and the sway bar nut, sway bar end link nut. Okay, now there, that's all the way through, and that one is all the way through. So I'm going to actually lower the control arm. Lower this jack out of the way. Nothing's going anywhere. Now what that did for me was put tension on these 2 bolts, okay? They're all the way through. They're snugged up against the back. That put tension on them, so now I don't have to hold the wrench on the back side when I tighten them. It's maybe still a good idea, and if they start spinning, I will obviously put the wrench on the back side and make sure they're good and snug. Are we spinning or anything? No. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make that tight. On the shorter springs, guys, this is how it goes. The long factory springs are the problem. But this one's only got a half coil cut on it. And I went from, you know, having, well, the car was too high up the last time too. But, you know, I went from having problems getting these springs in to, you know, that half coil cut off of it makes all the difference in the world. It's completely doable now in a super quick time. This is more like what I'm used to doing this job. Hard to keep talking and working at the same time. I'm in a little out of shape, so huffing and puffing a bit. I apologize if y'all can hear that. Get a little squish in it. That's probably pretty good. Okay, these two are tight. This is tight. Let's get this done, then we'll get the caliper back, and the job's done. This goes in a hole down here. You will see when you take it off how it can be easy or difficult depending on where the how far down the strut comes. Okay, first thing, I'm going to put this nut back on this bracket here. Since I have this tool right here, we're going to go ahead and snug that down. I take my tiny little 1/4-inch guy, put it in here, find its threads. Oh, it's lined up already. So perfect. Love that. I'm going to run it down as much as I can with my hand because this little ratchet, I've put too much torque on it in the past and it doesn't want to ratchet anymore. So we're just tightening with it, kind of like a wrench. This thing is small. It does not need much torque on it. We're right there, so very good. That's tight. We're now back to the caliper. Unfurl here. Don't know if you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to back this up here. There we go. I'm going to put the top in and make sure this anti-squeal clip is in a good spot. Make sure these two clips are oriented correctly, which they are. Jam it in. Squeeze it down some. Can't get my pen through. Hit it harder. There we go. Pin's in. I take my little C clip around to the back. You can press this on with your thumb. It's not super hard. Oh, my lug nuts is getting away. Guys, that's done. If you already have lowering springs that aren't the really tall ones and they're hard to get out, that's it. How long have we been recording at this point? 16 minutes. You know, if you wanted to add, let's say 10 minutes for getting the car in here, getting the jack out, getting the tools out and all that stuff, sure, fine, whatever. But if you got the right tools out and you know what you're doing, obviously you have the Cobra brakes because they're easier to take off than the GT V6 brakes that have the 2 bolts for the caliper. This is obviously a very, very easy job. Where'd my last one go? There it is. I'm gonna bring that one on a few more threads in. It happens so quick. Like this job goes so quick when it goes like this that I will sometimes sit here and look at everything for a second and go, did I really do the whole job? Is that it? Is it done? It's kind of crazy how easy it is to change the springs on one of these cars. Get up there. There it is. All right. I'm going to take the jacks out and take it back down, and let's see how it sits. V6 power. Let's measure 8. This is already looking better. We're hoping for 26 3/4 or above. 26. It's under 26 3/4. Yeah. Okay. We're 26 and 9, 10, 11. 26 and 11/16. Is that perfect? Spot on the middle? 26 and 11/16. But let's check the other side. It's 27 and 1/16. It went up a 1/16. It did settle some over some time. So I'll say, hey, you know, the last time I did it, it did settle a little bit over the next day. Let me grab you guys, and y'all can come over here and look as well. So I'm gonna call this 27 because I think it'll settle. This might end up being 27 and 10, or 26 and 10/16, which would be the same as 5/8, right? And a half, or we were 26 and a half. And if we go to 10/16, which is the same as 5/8, that means we only went up 1/8 of an inch with that isolator. If that only went up 1/8 of an inch, I'm slightly frustrated. It does look better though to my eye. I'll let it settle out a little bit more and we'll see what it comes to. Every time I take the car and I measure after I drive and then measure like the next day, it's a 1/16 of an inch lower. So if it comes down to 10/16, that's the same as 5/8. That means that isolator only got me from 4/8 to 5/8 or 1/8 of an inch. I knew I shouldn't have trusted the stuff online that said it was 1/4. An isolator would be 1/4, maybe when they were younger. But my measurements in the past had been closer to 1/8. It got me 1/8. So I would have to put the top isolator back on. I'm not going to do that right now. So we also have to say, hey, how much work am I going to put into this versus what I'm getting out of it? And let's just say this. We know it needs ball joints and tie rods. I don't mind how this looks. It is higher. And so I'm going to leave it be for now. And I'll measure again when I'm ready to change the control arms and the tie rods and such. And I'm not going to do ball joints. I'll just do the whole control arm with bushings already in it and everything, bushings and ball joints in it. Let's walk around to the other side. Let's walk around here to the other side and look at this side. Honestly, I might leave it as is. Now, again, like I said, when I redo the front end stuff, I'll measure again and make a determination at that point whether I want to change something or not. But it's looking pretty good. The stance is pretty great. A little lower in the front than the rear, which is what I like. It rides good. I'm not super low that I'm going to hit anything. I think I'm pretty happy with it now. Pretty happy. We're close. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. This video is mainly just showing, like, I do finish my things. I come back to them. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for watching. Check out the merch store if you want to support the channel. We've got all kinds of shirts. Going to have hats on there soon. yeah, I think that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. This is fun. Even though it's a V6 car, it's still fun. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, guys.